We are here where the magic happens, behind the curtain in the office of Illinois head basketball coach Brad Underwood. So thanks for letting us into your private domain, first of all.
No, you're welcome anytime, and this is where a lot of work gets done behind the scenes. A lot of film, a lot of X's and O's, and you're more than welcome. And you got any great advice? I'm all ears.
I've just brought a few friends with me to take a peek. And speaking of film and X's and O's, this will be an interesting segment because we get to break down the high-octane offense you're bringing here to the Illini. It's been out there quite a bit since you took the job, about 7 seconds, scoring the ball in 7 seconds. And it sounds exciting, but it's a little more intricate than that. So you're going to break out the clicker. We're going to look at some film and explain as best you can. I know you don't want to give away any trade secrets to your opponents who are on the schedule, but of how you can execute this offense at a high level.
Well, there's two things that go into this, and we tell our players the first 7 seconds is about running and effort, and it's about pitching ahead. And what we try to do there is really very simple: space the floor, and then we look for threes that are open shots with guys that practice those shots. We look to attack the front of the rim so we get layups, and or get fouled and shoot free throws.
Interesting you said guys who practice threes. So
yeah,
everybody, and if you're not a three-point shooter, don't start chucking them up.
Right.
If that's your shot and you're open, take it.
Right, and that's well documented throughout the course of practice. We look at percentages. We play. I'm very into numbers, and then we do have guys practice them all the time that we want shooting them. And so after we get out of that 7 seconds, I think is when things get interesting, and I think it's truly where we become efficient. We have an offense we call spread, and it's basically a positionless offense. Our 5 men are going to shoot threes, and we may put our point guards in what we call the pinch post area. So it becomes a positionless offense. It's based on matchups, and we think that's the best way to become efficient. So when you talk the first 7 seconds, you talk effort, you talk running, pushing the ball ahead. With some quick little ball screen action to get into offense before the defense gets set. Then we get into spread, which is I think where we've been extremely efficient in terms of scoring the basketball.
And one of the main principles of this offense is to increase the number of possessions.
Correct.
Right? And I mean, not only are you wearing down the defense, that's less that you have to deal with them on the other end when you're pushing the ball, right?
Well, and I think the one thing that maybe I'm a little different than a lot of coaches at halftime of a game, for instance, one of the things that I look at statistically, I look at the other team's assist. Because of the way we play defensively, I want those numbers to be pretty low. That means they're dribbling the basketball a lot. The other thing I look for is their field goal attempts compared to ours. I want to be a plus 10, 12, 14 in terms of field goal attempts. That means we're turning people over, which allows us to get out and run.
Sure.
And then I also want to be on the offensive glass a lot.
So you got to go and get the basketball if you want to do that.
Absolutely. So we try to treat every missed shot as a pass, and it's a pass to ourselves. Let's go offensive rebound that basketball, and
so just like the Tracy McGrady off the backboard dunk it kind of thing. It's an assist to yourself.
Not quite. We'll try to shoot it and make it,
sure.
and then go get
the Moses Malone, pass your offensive rebound stats.
But it's again, it's based on metrics. It's based on percentages. 76 to 80% of all shots go opposite. So we talk about flooding that area and going to rebound the basketball. And again, it's points in the paint. So on top of that, 1 out of every 2 end in fouls. So now it's a double whammy. We score a basket in the paint and we draw a foul on 1 out of every 2. That impacts what the other coach has to do and changes the outcome of games just based on effort and numbers. So it's effort based, and yet when we get to the spread part of it for the meat and potatoes of those possessions, there is some reading and some things that we have to adjust to. But we have a counter for everything the defense does.
Since you've started practice as we count down to the season, what are the challenges you and the coaching staff has faced trying to implement this offense with the personnel that you have?
Well, it is new, and it's different, and it takes patience and it takes time, and it's I understand that It's not a set where Johnny goes to screen for Jimmy and
Right.
that it's more of a flow. Everybody's got a different position.
And you're reacting to what you see.
Absolutely, and they're the same. So it's based on passing. We've spent a tremendous amount of time passing the basketball.
That's a lost art in basketball these days.
Absolutely, and we're in a world where everybody ball screens. My 3 years at Stephen F. Austin, we set the fewest ball screens in the country. That played to our advantage because it became very difficult to guard when teams are used to just guarding ball screens. So we hope that's the case this year as we get into it. And we do ball screen some, mostly in transition, but in the half court it'll be a little more ball movement and player movement happening simultaneously can cause the defense to move. And we look for the other team's worst defender and really try to pick on them. Can
we take a look at some tape here and kind of break down
Absolutely.
how this offense works? We started with the spread.
Absolutely, and this is what we call first cutter layup. And again, everything we try to do is on an attack on the front of the rim.
Now, this is some tape from when you were at Stephen F. Austin.
This is a Stephen F. Austin tape, and this group got to where we could really pass. Again, here's just a cutter at the top. We hit the wing, and the opposite two guys cut. We can see right now that both defenders have their heads turned.
Right.
And we're just going to throw this up, and that's our 6'4" guy going up over the top for a layup. So, again, another clip here. We're in the gray. Again, sprinting a cut.
Hard cuts to the basket.
Sprint. And if they don't sprint, we have a method in practice that we try to encourage that.
Is that the treadmill?
That would be the treadmill.
That's the treadmill. You got to run some laps and work off your punishment.
And again, here's just a reversal. We're very big on ball reversal. The numbers increase dramatically. Again, defender's got his head turned. This group knew to throw it, no matter what. And as soon as they get their head turned, just put it up there. Again, ball reversal's one thing that allows a defense to make mistakes.
But that ball's moving. It's not sticking.
It's not sticking. And again, here's a guy, again, we're picking on a weak defender, trying to get him up to the top so he's a first cutter. Here's what we call a second cutter post-up. We don't have the first one. Thomas walk-up. This is where our guards become great post-up options. Here's Thomas walk-up at 6'4", number 0 here. The pass over the top. And you can see we've got the backside cleared. So it's just another option.
Just going to take it straight to the basket.
And that's a 6'7" guy guarding him.
Have the right position. All of that is important.
Absolutely, and those are things we teach and we coach every single day. Again, it's a lot of entries. There's a few ball screens in it, but here's going to be a great option for a second cutter post up. Just burying him right at the rim, and we'll take points in the paint from whomever we have them, whether it's a guard. This is a guard right here. In a post-up. You can see I've got my 5'8" point guard in what we consider the pinch post area. He's setting all the screens. Right. So every position is truly positionless. They switched, take advantage of them in the post.
One thing that jumps out when you watch this offense back from when you were at Stephen F. Austin, you need playmakers and you got to be in exceptional shape.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming you're working the guys pretty hard, getting them ready to be physically prepared to run this offense. It's nonstop. Absolutely,
and we call it the grinder, and it's a term we use. We want to put teams in the grinder. Here's the best part of this. This is my group last year at Oklahoma State. We scored 61% of the time in what we got to two-man game. And it's something that I think is the best part of it. You see a lot of NBA teams get to this action.
This is next level type stuff.
Yep. And it's right here is what we call the two-man game, which is these two guys right here, just playing two-man game. And it's a read on the defense. Number one just comes off hard. They don't help. It's a layup. And it's very, very challenging.
Same thing here on the left.
This will be the same thing right here. Now we've got a 5-man coming off, and he can make a shot. And a lot of NBA teams play into this action somehow at the elbow. Again, there's Thomas walk-up just on a speed cut off the two-man game handoff. Handoffs are very hard to, here he is again. Hard to keep the ball out of the paint on that. And that's what we've got to get to. We have great size with Kipper, with AJ, LaRon Black. Again, here's our off guard in here in a post up off two-man game. We just came off the two-man game. Our point guard was dragging his dribble. We let him post up. We had both of our bigs high, so they're out of the way, and it's just a guard posting up in this action. So a lot of movement. We try to get the cutters. It's a little more intricate here. We called it called this push. Again, cutters cutting.
You have a little more movement in this.
We do. And again, it's just ball reversal. Good things happen when you reverse the ball. In most offenses, this one in particular, you get ball movement, you've got a lot of opportunities. And again, we try not to let the ball ever stick.
In a traditional sense, a lot of fans are used to, when it comes to positions, is he a 1, is he a 2, is he a point guard, 2-guard, wing, big. You want basketball players.
That's it. If I could have the 89 team.
So now you're speaking my language.
If I could have
6'4", 6'5", jump out the gym.
The flying Illini in this offense would be ideal because of the floor spacing.
Don't say that to Kendall Gill might come out of retirement if he hears this.
I'd love to have him.
He's probably in shape. He can run this offense.
Absolutely, but it's made for basketball players, and it's so important. We've talked a lot in the preseason about working on ball handling, working on passing with both hands.
Vision. You have to see the
and
court.
you have to see it. And guys get better at it. There's no question. But it's literally 5 good basketball players. I go back to my last year. We beat West Virginia that year in the NCAA tournament, and for the entire game had nobody on the court over 6'4". And they're huge. They were one of the best teams in the country. But they had to come out and guard us in this, and it posed a different set of problems for them, just like size and having to guard them hurt us in some areas. But again, we made them guard us, and it posed some problems because of our skill set, no matter what size.
Coach, you're used to success, having gone to the NCAA tournament at Stephen F. Austin, at Oklahoma State. This is a tried and true method. The so-called experts, they didn't ask me, by the way, picking you in the bottom 4 of the Big Ten this coming season. You've stated very publicly you would consider it a disappointment if you don't make the NCAA tournament. How big of a challenge is it to you, as the season is right around the corner, to get this thing going and get Illinois basketball back in the postseason in the NCAA tournament?
Yeah, I mean, that's why I'm here. And I look at it that simple. I don't believe in the word rebuild. I don't. I think that every single day is about a progression and getting better. This basketball team, we have youth. There's no question, and we have a team that is going to continue to grow. No one's ever on this group right now. No one's ever really produced at a real high level, at the high major level. That'll change because we have some good players. But I think that this team will grow and be a better team in the middle of December than we are today. And I think we'll be a better team come conference time in January than we were in December. And you'll see tremendous improvement because they'll understand our system better. They'll understand spread better and what the looks are. They'll experience it, what different teams do to them. So everything becomes better with experience. And then you get the Mark Smiths who can play multiple positions, and he'll become even more of an integral part of this. And you got a guy like LaRon Black who can step out and shoot threes, but can also post up, and a guy like Michael Finke who can exploit. So, you know, I'm excited about the possibilities that this group has, and that's something I know there's going to be a tremendous amount of growth throughout the course of the year, and that's what excites me, because when we reach it and get it humming, it'll be fun.
Well, Coach, we're excited, looking forward to year 1 of the Brad Underwood era with Fighting Illini basketball. That'll do it for our preview show. Thanks to Coach Underwood and the entire Illinois basketball staff. Until the season tips off, we're all getting ready. Go Illini.